Inspire Career Spotlight on Careers is excited to welcome a new affiliate partner to the podcast, and that is the Salary Bump. The Salary Bump is offering a special deal to the listeners of the Inspire Career Spotlight on Careers podcast, and that is a 15% off coupon for their digital course, the Salary Accelerator program. Use the special code INSPIRE15 at the link below here in our notes and get 15% off the digital program. It's going to help you prepare for salary negotiations, whether you are negotiating a raise inside your current job or you're looking outside your company and you have a new opportunity. Congratulations. Either way, you're going to be able to approach the opportunity with more confidence than you have before. So check it out. Welcome to another episode of Inspire Career Spotlight on Careers, video podcast series where I bring you best-in-class career information from all over the career space to keep you up to date and help you advance in your careers. Today, I am going to be talking about a subject that I know can be a little touchy when you're talking to job seekers, but it is about time burners, wasting time in your job search. Listen, everybody does it. Everybody likes to think they're being productive, but the more job seekers I talk to, I have to be honest, the more people I talk to, the more things I hear. And once they talk openly about things that they're doing, the activities of their search, it does become clear to them too that they probably are wasting more time during their search than they realize. Listen, I think we all know the best parts of job search that are going to bring us the highest return on investment. Things like networking, right? I mean, that goes without saying. That's not what this necessarily is about, but let's cover some of the highlights, things people may not know, but let's just cover them and get them out of the way. When you're on a job search, you're actively looking for a job, particularly if you're out of work, you really want to get out of a bad situation. I'm not necessarily talking about passive job seekers that are just kind of exploring, but for those people that are really trying to get out there and get something else, networking is the number one way to find a job. Up to 80% of jobs are gotten through networking. Most of the best jobs aren't posted. We know this. I find very few people who have not heard this. However, talking to people is the best way to find a job. People call that networking. Let's just call it talking to people. Should you apply online? Sure. Apply on LinkedIn, apply on Indeed. I'm not going to tell you not to, but it's about proportions. You should be applying online in proportion to networking. Networking should be the largest part of your search, and certainly including recruiters in the pile of networking. So if you're spending most of your time pressing the button, apply, and not talking to people, that is the number one wasting time of your job search, far and above anything else. And I guess we could even close down the podcast after that, because far and away. And if you're doing that, you know that already, because I'm sure your job search is taking far longer than you anticipated it to. However, there's things that people are doing out there and they are prioritizing networking, but they're still not getting the results they want. They're telling me, look, Kathy, I'm spending 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. I am treating it like a full-time job, and I'm still not getting the results. Why is it taking so long? And there are things they can tighten up, yes. And a lot of those things really are time wasters. And I want to talk about those because they can be insidious. You don't even know you're doing them sometimes. And let's just call them out. Let's get them off your plate so that you're aware of them and so that you can recognize them and reset, reprioritize things so that you can get back to the real business of job search. I would much rather see you spend 3 to 4 hours a day on a good, healthy job search, close the door, don't talk to anybody, get some good activity done, and then close the computer, put down the phone, whatever, and go out and live your life, than 8 hours a day behind a computer and coming away exhausted, crabby, and non-productive. But at least you could say, I'm job searching all day. That is not a job search, folks. And if that's you, you know that you're crabby and non-productive. Your family knows it too. Don't think they don't. All right? So let's just call it like it is. So let's talk about the things that are holding you back in terms of your time wasters. I really want you to spend your time on high ROI activities, high return on investment activities. But yes, the networking thing, we know 100%. But there's a couple other things people are doing. Let's call them out here just so that you're aware of them, because once you're aware of them, then you know, okay, maybe I need to stop doing that or I need to reproportion my time. Okay. So a couple of things. First of all, and I want to call out one because I think a lot of times people are doing this and they think it's a good thing, but it isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily getting them places. And the first one we're going to call out is over prepping, getting ready, what they call strategizing a little bit too much, but they're not actually getting a whole. I talk to people all the time that say, yes, I'm doing this, 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 and this, but it's taking me an hour of time to get everything done, or it takes me 2 hours, 3 hours for a job application. What? Way too long. Listen, folks, if it's taking you that long, then it's probably not the right job for you, or you are overthinking it. Maybe you're subconsciously resistant to applying for that job too. Listen, job search is primarily a mental game. And if you're in a job search, you kind of know this. Yes, there's strategy behind the physical activity of what you have to do, but so much of job search really happens in our head. And if you're taking 3 hours to apply for a job and you are really doing that and you're disguising that as work and rearranging your resume and trying to match up keywords and stuff, something deep inside says, maybe I'm really not trying to engage in the search all that well. You kind of have to be honest with yourself about that. If you are over prepping and it's taking you an hour or more to apply for a job, then you're wasting your time. My rule of thumb is generally, if it takes you longer than a half hour to tweak your cover letter, to tweak that resume, probably isn't the right job for you, or you're really not serious about it. Should you tweak your resume for different jobs? Yes, we know you should. I'm not going to repeat all the stuff you already know. You don't need to watch me for that. But yes, you should. However, if it's taking you that long and if you're going over it and you're just kicking it around to death, then you've got a bigger problem here. You are avoiding job search. That's what you really are doing, and you need to be honest with yourself. So that's the first job search thing that you're just wasting your time on, is over preparing and making lists, endless and endless lists. And you know what I mean. I mean, being scrupulous, not being organized, taking too much time. The second thing that you're wasting your time on that's non-productive is replaying past rejections in your head. You know what that looks like? That looks like when you say over and over again, I've applied for 500 jobs and I haven't gotten any responses. And you tell everybody you know that I've applied to 500 jobs. You tell me, you tell your next door neighbor, you tell everybody, because why do you do that? Because you believe that makes you sound like this is how much I am working at this, and I am a victim of the job search game. That's what that is. I am out there, I have 500 jobs. If you've applied for 500 jobs, there's a bigger problem than victim. There's a bigger problem here. Nobody should be applying for 500 jobs. If you are doing something wrong, and then you do need to call me. Nobody needs to apply for 500 jobs. Couldn't you get to 100? Maybe, but not 500. My God. But I hear it all day long, which is why I say it. I'm not exaggerating. So what happens, though, is people do that, and they repeat it, and they repeat it, and they repeat it. So it gets into your psyche. And what happens is you're talking about it all day long to yourself. You're ruminating about it. And then before you know it, now I'm not applying for so many. Now I'm pulling back on the jobs that I'm applying for. Now I'm applying for crappy jobs and jobs that I'm probably not going to get an interview for anyway. Now I'm up to 520. Oh, poor me. I'm such a victim. But you weren't going to get a call for those jobs anyway, because they really weren't the right job for you. And listen, by the time you apply for 500, you've probably already gotten out of that realm of what was a good match for you. Do you realize that? So think about this, playing over how things didn't go well in the interview, saying, oh, I really screwed up that answer. Oh, I should have worn the different coat. Oh, I got there 5 minutes late. Oh boy, they really said something I wasn't prepared for, or maybe they were nasty to you. Stuff happens, right? Or they just ghosted you. Maybe you've been through 5 interviews and they ghosted you. This happens. It happens a lot. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. Take action about it instead. If someone has ghosted you, send them an email. Try to hold them accountable. Try to get that conversation, and then let it go. Because what's happening is you keep living in that space. You're wasting your time. And now it's taking away at your confidence. It's taking away at your process, and you're not getting anything done. That's wasted time number 2. The next thing is wanting to feel more confident before you reach out to someone. Saying, I'm going to reach out to 10 people today. Although I've yet to say anybody that tells me they reached out to 10. They might connect with 10 people, and they call that reaching out. 10 people to connect with on LinkedIn. That's not reaching out to people. I just had a conversation with somebody today because I spend all day connecting with people. That's nothing. I go, well, how many interviews has that turned into? None. Big old goose egg, none. So that means it's non-productive work. So if you feel like, well, I need to feel better about myself before I reach out, or I have to prepare better before I reach out to Joe, Sue, whatever, all these people. Why? You know, is you have to ask yourself that. Now, there are times when that can really come into play. Have you been fired? Were you part of a big layoff and you're kind of embarrassed because you feel maybe you shouldn't have been caught up when everybody else was? Did you do something that got you fired? Or maybe you didn't do anything that got you fired and, you were just it just wasn't a good match. It wasn't a good fit, but you don't really know how to verbalize that. What happened? Or are you just want out of the job that you're in and, people might think, oh, you're flaky, you're ungrateful, you really don't, have the words to kind of process it with people, or you don't trust people well enough because, people do talk and your job search is confidential. When you say, I'm not confident enough to reach out to people, I don't really know what to say, that is not really about the confidence level. It's about you don't have your story down well enough. It's about making sure that you can talk about yourself well enough. Confidence and having your words are two different things. So you don't need to have more confidence to reach out to somebody, but you do need to have your script down. And that is one of the first things you should do. And I don't mean script like memorize something and just spew it out to people, but know a little bit about your own story and be able to talk about it. What do you want? What kind of job do you want? What are you looking for? You have to be able to get that down. People do not want to have to figure that out for you, and they're not going to take the time to listen while you figure it out in front of them. So waiting until you have these things worked out, until you feel better about yourself, that's a waste of time. Just pick up the phone and call somebody. Nobody is holding you to that. Nobody wants you to be better than you are. They really don't. You're so much better off if you just say, look, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and make 10 calls today. That's all it takes. And chances are one of them is going to land. The other thing people do that waste time for job search is letting one bad interview throw them off for the whole week. And this is a little more different than the rejections where you have 500 jobs, right? And then you kind of play that victim. But if something really goes wrong in the interview, and then it's like, well, maybe I can't interview. Maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I shouldn't be looking for this kind of job. Now I start questioning myself. Now maybe I'm not cut out for that. This is what people say to themselves. This is the dialogue people have with themselves. That is not the kind of energy you need to be in. One bad interview is just that. It's one bad interview. Understanding what went wrong in the interview, if indeed something went wrong, if indeed you flubbed something, and that can happen, understand it, know what it was, and move forward. Were you unprepared? Did you not have questions? Were you that guy when they said, do you have any questions for us? And you said, no, I think you answered all my questions? Because I hope you're not that guy, because you never want to be that guy. If you did that, that's a problem. If you didn't know the answers to your own experience or what you wanted, that's a problem. Yeah, figure that out. But sometimes there's just not good alignment between you and the recruiter or the hiring manager that's interviewing you. It's not a good culture fit for you in the company. That's not even a bad interview. Because listen, you don't want a job offer from everybody you interview with, believe it or not, you really don't. Because you're not a good fit for everybody and everybody isn't a good fit for you. But people play this over and over in their heads. And just because one thing didn't go well, don't let it poison the next interview that you have. Let it go. Try to compartmentalize it and move on. Next thing is spending time playing and futzing with your resume all day long instead of talking to people. Here we go again. That's kind of like that networking thing versus, applying online. But I cannot tell you the amount of people that say, I have 40 different versions of my resume. Oh my God. Seriously? You don't need that many. I know. Yes. Kathy, wait. But you told me I have to taper my resume, for each application. Tweak. That's all you need. If you've got 40 different versions of it and you have 500 applications out, can you do the math? I'm not mathy and I'm doing that math and I can tell you it's not working. So you've got to take a step back and say something here isn't adding up. You don't need 40 versions of your resume. So stop playing with the resume and start talking to people. That'll give you a clue as to what needs to be in that resume. Are you missing a skill? Is there something about your experience that maybe you're just not putting forward that people are looking to see? Do you need to get a technical skill? Do you not have people experience? Like, do you not have leadership experience, but you're applying for leadership jobs? Meaning, are you misaligned with what you're applying for? Talking to people will help you figure that out. So start talking to people instead of turning your resume upside down towards, Tuesday. Yes, a little bit of tweaking it here and there. But if you're really doing job search well and effectively, the keywords matter less. The format of your resume matters less. Now listen, does it matter? Yeah, but I'm talking about obsessive. Do not obsess about it and don't spend all the time doing it. Because again, like I said a few minutes ago, you are avoiding. This is what it is. When you continue to play and you continue to get obsessive about it and scrupulous about your materials, that is avoidance. You know it deep down. You know it. All right. The other thing people do is comparing their job search to other people's timeline. So my friend got their job in half of the time that it's taking me. So somebody else got it in 3 weeks. Mine is taking 2 months. What's wrong with me? I hear that a lot. I know somebody that got a job quicker. So this is what people do. They show me their friend's resume and say, this got them a job within 6 weeks. And I've been at this for 3 months and I don't have a job. I want a resume just like theirs. I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not the resume. Now, might they need a better resume? They might. Does their friend may have had a great resume? Maybe. But chances are there was a lot of other variables. It's not just that resume. There's probably other variables. Did their friend network their way into that job? Did they have a connection at the company? Did they have really strong interview skills? There's a lot of things that probably went into that. Did they already have history with that company? Did they lay that foundation for the job search way before? Were they already employed so that maybe they were really attractive to the company? Did they have all kinds of experience managing those type of products? Did they have a great content strategy on their LinkedIn so that the company already knew a lot about them? All these things could have played into that. It's probably not just the resume. So when you compare yourself to everybody else, just like in life, there's no difference here. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's experience is different. Your job search is different. You control your experience with your job search just as your friend did. So to compare it to somebody else is wrong. But can you learn from theirs? Sure. Ask them what they did. Learn from them because maybe they did some great things that can help you. You can do in yours. Did they network? Were they going out constantly talking to people? What did they do? It may come down to, look, my dad got me this job here. He's been working at this company for 40 years. Hey, you can't replicate that, right? That might not help you at all. But there's other things that might you say, oh, I hadn't thought about doing that. Okay, great. And integrate that into your search. So there's things you can learn, but when you start comparing yourself to other people and you start comparing yourself, even your job offers to other people, well, how come they got paid this and I didn't get paid that? Maybe their negotiation skills are better than yours. Did you even bother to negotiate? There's a lot of things that happen that we start doing those type of things, and that is wasteful of time because it just tears away at your confidence and it makes you stop focusing on the things that are important. You're focusing on your friend's search instead of your own. Now you're not getting your own done. Do you see how this is such a mental game? And if you can identify yourself in any of these things that I'm saying, you're seeing why sitting behind the computer 8 hours a day is not really doing a good job search. All right, a couple more here. How about this one? I don't want to bother people. I'm not comfortable about talking about myself. I don't know how to talk about myself. I don't like social media. I'm going to lump all of those into one. All right. These are all excuses I hear from people about why they don't engage on social media, why they don't have effective content strategies, why they don't reach out and talk to people at all, and why when I ask them about their resumes and I say, let's get some good stuff on here. Tell me about what you did. Oh, no, I don't like talking about myself. Are you kidding me? Your resume is the one place you should be talking about yourself. So every time I hear, I don't like social media, I want to scream because LinkedIn really isn't social media. And if that's what you think it is in terms of that you should be posting your family pictures and you should be just doing that kind of crap, I mean, that is not what LinkedIn is about. It really is about developing relationships. So every time you say those type of things, I don't like talking about myself. Well, then I don't know how you're going to get a job because if you can't talk about yourself effectively, your job search is going to take a long time. And this is what people do. So what happens? Follow this. I don't like talking about myself. I don't like being on LinkedIn. I don't like social media. So what am I going to do? I'm going to continue to apply for jobs on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to apply for 10 jobs a day, not talk to a person, not go to a networking event, not leave the house. On and on, it perpetuates itself. Do you see that? And then I'm going to complain when I've applied for 500 jobs and I've gotten nowhere. Well, if you can't talk about yourself, nobody's going to hire you. You need to be able to talk about yourself and you need to own your successes. Bragging is one thing. Being a jerk is completely another. Throwing your coworkers and your boss under the bus is a whole other story. And I hope you're not that guy either. I hope you're not doing that. But taking credit for what you've done in a professional manner is exactly what employers expect you to do. So ditch the we language and start talking about what I did. Don't take credit for things you haven't done. That's not what I'm saying. Never lie, never exaggerate. But you need to own what you did because that's what people are hiring you and paying you for. And if you want to get paid well, you have to show them that you're capable of solving their problems and making great change for them. People hire you to solve their problems. And if you're not a problem solver, then they don't need you. And if you're the same as everybody else, then they don't need you. So when I say to people, differentiate yourself, do something different, say something different to a recruiter, stand out, and people go, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, then your job search is going to go on a long time because everybody else sounds the same. So if you're afraid to talk about yourself, don't know how to talk about yourself, don't want to be on LinkedIn, then you are wasting your time. Again, very low ROI activities is sitting online, apply, apply, apply. And people think, again, that's back to just applying online, but there's reasons people are doing that. And that's what I want you to hear me saying. So stop hiding behind that. I don't like to do whatever it is, insert that here, and start trying to get over that. If it's true, it's not bragging. And if you're saying it in a professional manner, then you're not coming across as a jerk. Get your facts, get your figures together, get them into your resume, and learn how to talk about them effectively without feeling weird about it, because that's what employers want to hear. Taking a quick break to share something I think you'll find valuable. If you're negotiating a raise or exploring a new role, check out the Salary Accelerator program. It's a digital course or affiliate partner, the Salary Bump, and it can help you approach salary conversations with strategy and confidence. Use the code INSPIRE15 for 15% off of the digital course. Find the link in the notes below. And then the next one is the big one here that we'll kind of start closing down here on. And that is the market's too tough or it's the wrong season to job search. We'll link those two together too. How about that? And I put them together because those are cyclical, right? So I hear it all the time. Well, it's the summertime. It's too, people don't job search in the summer. People aren't hiring. Everybody's on vacation. Well, I don't want to job search in the holiday time because nobody's hiring. Or the market's really tough right now. There's stuff going on in Washington. It's not a good time. I'm going to wait for a while. Well, isn't it just like a job search or is just like a home search too? Well, want to wait for interest rates to go down. Well, you can wait, but they could also go up. Look, sometimes you just got to pull the plug. You got to go do what you got to do. You can refinance later, right? You have to make a decision when the timing is right for you. Same thing, but don't hide behind those excuses because guess what? The job market's been tough before and it will be tough again. And who's to define what tough is, right? I can say that to you, yeah, it's kind of tough out there. What does that mean? It's always tough for anybody that's not prepared. It's always tough for somebody that doesn't have experience. It's always tough for the people that think it's tough. But if you say, I'm well prepared, I've invested in myself, I've got my story ready, I've got people that I know I can talk to, I've got a plan, it's less tough for you. And the same thing with seasonal. Guess what? The seasons come and go. Every year is the same. December comes at the same time every year. And people are hiring every day of the year. So that's not an excuse. I get people that get hired Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve, they get their offer letters. So that's another excuse for just not doing. And the very final thing I'm going to say is if you are not investing in yourself, if you're not willing to put money into it or time into it, if you're not willing to invest in getting a good resume, getting a good LinkedIn, going to an event, getting out of the house and actually either spending a couple of bucks to go to a dinner or a networking event, or how about this, getting a health coach, like getting yourself in like peak physical, and I don't mean peak physical condition like an athlete, but like if you're feeling like you're sluggish and you need help, kind of getting back out there, if that's holding you back, if you're not talking to people because maybe you put on 20 pounds, that's no judgment, but get a coach to start getting you back in shape or get a gym membership. And if you're not sure how to really do a good job search, then get a career coach. And if your resume stinks, and let's face it, when it's bad, then hire somebody to fix it for you and get the right person to do it for you. Don't just get anybody. Ask the intelligent questions. When you go on a vacation, you hire a travel agent. When your car needs fixed, you go to a good mechanic. So come on, invest in yourself and figure it out. This isn't the time to be cheap with it because on the end, this is where your big ROI is. It all comes out where you're making the big dollars later, right? It comes out in your salary and in the satisfaction of the position that you're going to get. So to say here, this is what we're talking about. These little time wasters that you don't even know that you're doing. So when people say, I'm putting 8 to 10 hours a day in every single day, I'm just going to ask you to look critically at your time. And if you can say that you're not doing any of these, well, then, good for you. But I'd like you to spend a couple hours a day doing it, or maybe every other day or whatever, whatever your schedule that you deem well. During business hours, please, if you can, because that's when people are making decisions too and available. But these are the time fritters away that are not giving you any ROI. And if you can stop doing these, the stuff that's in your head and the things that are really holding you back, then you can really do that great job search strategy, land that job that you deserve, get out from behind the desk and go start living the life that you deserve, start making the money that you have earned, that is really the payoff for this entire career that you have put together. And then you can really start going out and living the life that you want. That's what job search is, right? It's really a career campaign. It's really the extension, the next step in your career. Stop thinking about it as just a tactical thing. Oh, I just have to do this, get this off my plate. Your job is so much more than that. It's so much about how you live. It is the means to an end. It supports your family. It gives you satisfaction. Oftentimes you get friends from it. You may meet your mate there. You want it to be everything you want it to be. It's not the end in itself. It's not meant to be. It's how we give back to society, but you want it to be good, and to be good, to be as best as it can be and what you truly deserve. You got to stop wasting your time and put the right amount of time into it and really get back from it what you put into it and get out of it what you need. All right, we're going to leave it there. If you have questions, let me know. Put your comments on here, because if you're finding yourself wasting time in other ways, I'd like to hear what that is too, because we can solve those problems. All right, in the meantime, one of the things that is going to give you a big heart ROI here is subscribing to our channel so that every time we drop new episodes, you get notified right away. So go ahead and ring that bell so that you do get our newest episodes. And in the meantime, until we meet again, live inspired.